Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody's Wednesday morning or afternoon going, or night, depending on where you are at? Slap my meat real quick. All right, this is an inside round. It's denuded, which means, it's kind of a funny word, denuded. It just means that it's fat cap that's normally on top. It's already taken off. So we're just gonna pretty up this top, get all this unappealing fat. Oh, wait. Yeah, so the fat's just taken off. I can still peel this cap off actually, now that I'm looking at it. So we're just gonna take off this little bit of ugly fat that's on top of this cap. Take off this ugliness on this belly of it. And then we're gonna go ahead and start cutting this down into some some London broils. And maybe some top round steaks. I haven't decided yet. Didn't know I am also live over on the Red Play app. So if you ain't following me over on that Red Play app, go ahead and go ahead and hit that subscribe and turn your notifications on. But looks like we got one person here in YouTube. First viewer on the YouTube. Appreciate it. So this front piece right here, as you can see, it's kind of very ugly. Dinosaur steak, they do make a pretty big steak. So this front end's really, really ugly. So what I always do is just take off this front piece. It's just super unappealing. You're not gonna make a steak or a roast with that. So I'm gonna set it off to the side and we'll come back and work on that a little bit later because there's a bunch of ugly pieces on that. Michael, thanks for the follow. Meat's meat and man's gonna eat. Yes, meat's about the only good thing. 100% the only good thing that you will always find. Meat is always good for you. So the knives that I am using today, this is my 11-inch steak knife from Knife Pro Cutlery, and this is my 9-inch fillet knife from Knife Pro Cutlery. You can find them on my my TikTok showcase. Just a couple clicks, you can have one of these ordered for yourself. All right, we pretty much got this top piece kind of pretty much cleaned up. We're gonna go ahead and take this cap off. It's pretty fun to take off. I haven't taken a denuded one off in a while. You can leave this on, but it makes the London broils and the top round steaks look really ugly. And I don't like that, so I'll go ahead and take off this cap usually. Usually you can just peel these caps off, but this top round one isn't really one that you can just pull off. You kind of have to work at it. And then we'll get it over here. We'll just follow the seam down right here. And then we'll also come back to this piece in just a little bit. Just gonna take off the silver skin, get right underneath this top layer. You're drooling, bro? Bro. Don't let your girlfriend or your wife catch the drooling. She might think you're looking at something else. Appreciate everyone tuning in on this fine Wednesday morning. What's up, Top Dad? For anyone who didn't know, I'm also live on YouTube. Red Play app. For everyone who is over here, make sure you are following, subscribing, have the notifications on for when I post and go live over here. Those are some nice slaps. We're just working all this ugly stuff off on this top so we can make these into some London broils. London broils are pretty lean pieces of meat. 5:30 here in the UK. Well, Sammy. Hope your day's been going pretty well. So as you can see, we got all this ugliness down here on this bottom piece. Got this fat. Make sure we get all that little meat out of there. We're gonna go ahead and just start shaving all this unappealing stuff right on out of here. See, you don't want that stringy stuff on there, that stringy fat, that stringy silver skin, right? Got to go to work in 15 minutes. Well, I appreciate you hanging out till got to go to work. Got to get this little bit of fat out of here. Makes that London broil look really ugly on that piece that gets that. Really nitpicky over here. Don't like these ugly, random fat pieces on that London broil, so I take them out. But now that we got this nice and trimmed up, we're gonna go ahead and break this down into some London broil. So when we took this cap off, it peeled this way. So this is going to be our back piece. This is going to be the last piece of our London broil. So we're gonna grab it over here and we're gonna hit this at an angle. You don't wanna hit it straight up and down. Then you're not going directly with the grain, but you're not going directly against the grain either. So when you turn it, you get that nice angled against the grain cut. And that's your London broil right there. So we're gonna go through. I'm actually gonna make these the smaller front piece into a couple steaks. Make that into a family pack top round. And we're gonna go ahead and start cutting these down into some London broils. Again, for anyone who isn't aware, this is my 11-inch Knife Pro Cutlery steak knife. This hasn't been sharpened since the beginning of the year. All I've been doing is using this on a honing steel, just drawing that straight edge back out. Hasn't been sharpened in a straight year, and just look at that. Just cuts through it like it's butter. So I keep the scraps, so my scraps go into this trim bucket, and that's what I make a ground beef with. But if you need some extra scraps, you can ask your meat cutter if he has scraps that he could potentially set aside for you. You can always ask for your meat cutter and your butcher to set up some fat aside from you if you are a hunter. You need some beef or pork fat. You can always call your local meat department or butcher shop and ask them to save some fat for you, because normally if they're not using it, it just gets thrown away. And you get it for like 10 cents a pound. At least I sell it for like 10, 15 cents a pound. So we got 6 London broils out of that. Gravy, thanks for the follow. I'll slap my meat for you for that. So we're gonna go ahead, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these 10-pea trays. These are long enough. They're not fat enough. They're just long enough and wide enough to just fit these London broils in it. Perfect. That's what I put my tri-tip roasts in as well. Fun fact: we will be cutting up some. We do got a bag of tri-tip roast, so we will be cutting up some tri-tip. Got a bunch of stuff to cut up today. We got top sirloin. We got this London broil. We got tri-tip, and we got 2 bags of chuck tender. Go ahead and put these on in here. Sandra, thanks for the follow. I'll slap my meat for you too. Flank steak, can't find it anywhere anymore. So flank steak, a lot of the times, are coming in pre-packaged in the meat departments nowadays from Williamson Valley or something like that. I always butcher the name. But if your meat department isn't bringing it in, 9 times out of 10 they don't have the customers to push it. You know, they're probably reducing it all or throwing it all away. Cowboy, thanks for the follow. I'll work at a food for less. I don't know what a food for less is. I'm guessing it's probably like a kind of like your local discounted grocery store. Not like discounted grocery store, but they're trying to offer a more competitive price. We don't have those here in Idaho, or at least in the Twin Falls area. Can I do chuck tender? Yes, I can do chuck tender. I can do chuck tender next. It's gonna do top sirloin, but we can do chuck tender. It's my least favorite, so might as well get that out of the way, right? Work at US Foods. I worked at US Foods. That's where I was at before I got back into meat cutting. So with that cut of meat, what would you make with it? You could thin slice it and you can make some jerky with it. You can put it in, it's one and broil, so you can put it, you know, like your ovens, they have that broil. Don't really know what a broil is. Not top sirloin, chuck tender. But you can put it in your oven, you can smoke it, you can cube it up, you know, like make some stew meat with it, stir fry. I really don't know what people do with London broils. I just know it's a cut that us meat cutters cut, and I cut it. I usually stick to my more expensive roasts and loin steaks. They taste better. I guess you could probably put it in a crock pot. This is that cap that we took off the that top round. It's taking off the silver skin. You can just technically roll this up if you wanted to and pinwheel it. But here back in the meat department, I'll either make it into some stew meat or stir fry or cube steaks. Today we'll probably do some stir fry with it. And we got all this other meat over here too. It's one thing I kind of hate about these top rounds. They produce this extra bit of trim. And I hate going through and doing this shit. Got to find the pieces that I can make in stew meat, repurpose, instead make it into ground beef, because everything that goes down here is for ground beef, and then everything that goes in there is trash and can't be used. So like on that front piece of that we took off, we got a little bit of bone right here. It's kind of why I just didn't throw it down into my trim bucket right after I took it off, because I saw that there was this on it, and we had that big old piece of meat right up here. I didn't want to have to cut around it. Another little bone right there. If I've missed anyone's new follows, or if I've somehow missed a gift, appreciate the gift. I try my best to pay attention to it, but try my best to thank people as I see it. Appreciate everyone for always tuning in. Brendan Boone, thanks for following. Got a chuck tender coming up right up next after we get this cut down to some stir fry. This would be a little bit better meat for fajita, just because it's kind of already trying to fall apart and it's a little bit thicker. But I just take those thick pieces and I cut them in half. And we make it down to some stir fry. Patrick, thanks for the follow. I don't know why, but whenever I hear the name Patrick, I just think of the SpongeBob episode where they're with the villains, and Patrick and SpongeBob are trying to teach the villains to become good citizens, nice people. And then Patrick drops his wallet and he's like, "Are you Patrick Star?" "Well, yes, I am Patrick Star. So this must be your wallet." "No, not my wallet." Rita and Jacob, thanks for the follow. That was crisp. What do I do with the leftovers that I cut off? That gets brought down, gets ground down into ground beef for some hamburger or taco, whatever y'all want to make with it. Spaghetti. It's usually 80-20 though, so it's more for hamburger or meatballs. Anthony, thanks for the follow. Do I ever eat the meat raw? I'll eat raw ribeye. Choice grade or higher though. I'm sure everyone's like, wait, you'll eat raw meat? So when you go to like a really fancy restaurant and you see that on the menu, there's beef tartare. That is very thin sliced tenderloin, raw, and it has like a little vinaigrette seasoning on it, I'm pretty sure. And then you kind of just grab it and put it on a cracker, and it's your little what's that dish called before you eat? It's like an appetizer. Dario, thanks for tuning in here on the YouTube. You cut meat too? Hell yeah. So normally I can just kind of mix it all together, but these are kind of longer and thicker pieces of meat. So I like to kind of just make them look more appealing in this stir fry package. Just makes it look nice and neat. Getting right onto the chuck tender right after this, I promise. I try my best to pay attention to the chat as best as I can. Sometimes I try to read a comment and then it disappears before I can finish reading it. I can't just take my gloves off every 5 seconds. That's waste of money and gloves. So I try my best to read the chat. Homemade bacon for the first time. Oh shit! How'd that go? Cut this down to some stew meat really quick. Like I said, this is my least favorite part about the top rounds. It produces all this extra little bit of trimmings. But you gotta do it. That's not gonna hold up. Some of these pieces are like a little, they're not solid, they're kind of hollow is what it feels like in the meat. So if you cut it down into stew meat, 9 times out of 10, that stew meat turns color a little bit quicker. So I normally just grind it down into ground beef. Don't gotta worry about reducing a package or throwing it away. BLTs with some, it was definitely gonna do it again. Hell yeah. Megan! Thanks for tuning in. If you didn't know, I'm also live over on the Red Play app. Make sure you tune in and hit that subscribe and follow button. Make sure you have notifications on. So this is our chuck tender, or your mock tender, or your chuck mock. I think that's it. But we got these couple of these ugly pieces that I fully take off and put in the trash. We got this piece right here. This is where bone is laying against the meat, and it's like a protective layer to protect the meat from the bone. You can leave it on there and you can cook it, but if you eat it, it's not gonna taste good. So I always take it off. Sometimes a little bit of pieces like sticking to it as well. So, no point in leaving it on when it attracts bones and don't taste well, right? And then right here on some of them, kind of got the same thing, but these are more like bone pieces. They're not full. They're hard, but at the same time you can like bend them. So it's not like it is a bone, but at the same time it feels like a bone to the touch, kind of. Until you bend it. And then from there we just got all this ugliness left right on here. So we go through and we take off all of this. I know your hands are cold, so this one actually isn't cold, so I'm just holding my knife. This one, it's actually why I wear the cloth cutting glove, because after not working in a meat department for a year and a half, I got back in here and my hands were just, at least this left hand was always just cold. It is 40 degrees in here. But when I'm moving, I keep a good pace going. Stay pretty warm back here. So again, this knife has not been sharpened since the beginning of the year. Literally, the beginning of the year. I got this one in January 1st, and this one in January 1st. Has not been sharpened. They're still shocked. I do need to sharpen them though. They could be sharpened. But if you take good care of these, the edges last on them. You can find them on my TikTok page in my showcase. The blue handled one, this one is the 9-inch fillet knife from Knife Pro Cutlery, and then the red handled one is the 11-inch steak knife. After we got this nice and trimmed up, you gotta slap it. You know, because it gives off that appealing. You gotta slap it, right? But then we got this back end, back here. It's just kind of a tendonish. We don't need it. Depending on how much meat is left in here, I'll either just throw it all in my trim bucket. I'll do my little repurposed trim up on it. And viola. Come on. There we go. Let's do that one for a roast. And process meat, mine stay cold. Damn. Try looking in some of these cloth cutting gloves. They don't restrict your hand movement like those chainmail ones, and they just keep your hand warm. No. Can't really tell that it's there. You can tell that that's there though. Sorry. Yeah, boy, CP and Harold. Thanks for the follow. So again, we got this piece right here that's almost like it's like that protective layer between the bone and the meat, so that that bone doesn't dig into the meat and hurt the cow, you know, because I'm sure getting punched in the meat hurts. So if you can imagine a bone just constantly digging in, I bet that would hurt. So it's almost like a natural bone lubricator. Just think of it that way. For any mechanics in here, just think of it as it's gonna rub, so there's gonna be that piece in between whatever is gonna be rubbing to make sure that it doesn't damage anything. Sunshine in Mount Airy, North Carolina. It is 40 degrees back here in my cooler, but in Twin Falls today, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like 88 degrees. Like imagine that, it is October 9th over here in Idaho, and it's going to be 88 degrees. Shit is nutty. I don't necessarily have to take all the silver skin out, but in my opinion, it just, some of it doesn't look the best, so I try and just take out all the thicker silver skin and that stringier looking stuff. A little bit of silver skin gets left on it. It is a okie dokie, just like that. You can leave that on there. Turning cold here at night. It's getting cold here at night too. It's dropping down to like 40-ish, somewhere in there. Sorry, I had like a little small burp there. Excuse me. But once you get to the day, it's back into that 80s, almost 90s. Next week, it's gonna start to cool down, so we'll see how that goes. But I will say this warm weather in October is kind of weird. Is this local beef? No. This is sent in. I'm pretty sure it comes from a plant in Salt Lake. So it comes from the Associated Food Warehouse in Salt Lake. 70 today, 40 tonight. Damn. And where'd everyone go? We were at like 600 a little bit ago. Am I not slapping my meat enough? I get that meat sometimes, cut a little piece for beef stew. Yeah, so this is actually not too bad to use for beef stew. It's not the worst meat to use for stew meat. You are gonna have a little weird thing that runs throughout the whole. You have like this tendon or nerve that runs throughout this whole piece. It's thicker back here. That's why I take this back piece off, because when you take it off, there's this fat nerve tendon thing in there. But as you get it farther and farther down this piece of meat, it gets a little bit smaller and smaller and smaller. So it's a little easier to not really even see. Easier to just cut right through, chew right through it. Is that a top round or a tenderloin or what cut? This is a chuck tender. Kind of looks like a smaller tenderloin in a way, like if it was kind of like cut in half. But this is still in that, I think it's, I don't really know the anatomy of a cow. I know where a lot of the primals come from. I don't eat the chuck tender. So I want to say it's still up here in the chest area, because you got the chuck shoulder clod, you got the chuck roll, and then you have the chuck tenders. I want to say it's still located up in that chest area. But I don't want to be too wrong about that. I don't want to give out some misinformation on where it's located. I know the tri-tip is located like down here on the back leg. And then the top sirloin's that ass rump part. So slap the cow's ass. But this is one that I really don't really know too much where it comes from. Canada this morning, it was 5 degrees. Shit. Somewhere in Florida, they got a tornado watch. They got more than a tornado watch in Florida. They got a hurricane. I'm pretty sure it's either hit last night or very early this morning, or it's going to be, or if it's hitting right now. And then they're supposed to, it looks like on the radar, it looks like it's literally being followed up by another one. So Florida's going to get hit by like 3 hurricanes. Australia, no snow yet. 5 degrees and no snow? Shit. That's some bullshit. It's tonight? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I follow Jinxie, and I know that he gives a little bit of updates on it. Like Ricky was asking why he's not, Richie was asking him why he wasn't leaving, and he just get caught in traffic. Oh my God, Uncle Dave, thanks for the heartbeat. Slap my meat for you. Just sub, keep them coming. Will do. I appreciate the sub. Al Lunacy. Sorry if I butchered that. Really appreciate that gift. Really, really appreciate it. So we got 5 of these in each bag. I'm gonna do 4 roasts, and then I'm gonna do 6 roasts into steaks. Just because my roast section's pretty decently, it's going to be decently full after we get these London broils wrapped in out there. And the tri-tip. We'll have a regular chuck roasts out there that I cut Monday. And then we'll have these chuck tenders out there. And then we'll have the London broils and tri-tip. So we got some pretty decent roasts, this roast selection out there. And then there's another rump roast out there as well. Yeah, Florida, yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's why if people are located in kind of like that hurricane area and they're staying put, one, traffic's just, like you're just going to be stuck in traffic and then you might get caught in a hurricane in your car. Two, there's no gas, so you can't drive anywhere because there's no gas. And then if you do want to leave, anyone who's left before you has probably gotten to the closest town that's going to be safe. So you're having to drive another 7 hours, 14, 18 hours just to find somewhere to go. So you have some people that are just going to be sticking it out and praying. And I feel so sorry. I feel so bad for them. I'm outside your door. You're not outside my door. If you're outside my door, ring my bell. Shade, thanks for the follow. Got that YouTube sub. Hell yeah, let's go. Y'all don't know, I am live over on the Red Play app as well. I'm going to try to be doing more things over on the Red Play app. TikTok's kind of not pushing any of my stuff on here, so I'm branching out. You might see something posted on YouTube that's not posted on TikTok. Make sure you sub, hit the noties, turn the noties on. Jess! Thanks for the heartbeat! Send one back. Came the numbers 37 member on the team. Let's go. Got the Meatman loyals going. Appreciate everyone for subbing on the YouTube. I really appreciate it. All right, that's the last roast. The rest of these are going to start being saved for some steaks. All right, all right, all right. For anyone who thinks that is BLOOD, that's not. That is meat juice. That is myoglobin, hemoglobin, whatever the hell it is. I don't pay attention to biology. It's something globin, hemoglobin, myoglobin, one of the two. But it's protein. As the meat sits down and ages, it's going to break down protein. So when the protein is breaking down, it creates meat juice. The next time you're in the meat counter and you pick up a package, ew, it's bloody. It's not blood, it's meat juice. Just subbed on the YouTube, I appreciate it. What kind is that? This is a chuck tender or a mock tender? Oh, Scotch tender, that's another name for it. So we got this piece, protective layer right here. It's where a bone was laying against the meat. So this protective layer, it's really lubed up. It's really smooth. So that bone just kind of just glides over it, wherever that joint, that bone, you know, to help the meat bend or the bone bend, whatever the hell it is. What knives do I prefer? I really like these Knife Pro cutlery knives. Like I said, I haven't had these sharpened since the beginning of the year. 10 months I've been using these and they still have a very sharp edge to them. This is the Knife Pro, the 9-inch Knife Pro cutlery fillet knife, and this is the 11-inch steak knife. They're both located on my TikTok page, up in my bio in the showcase. Both of these, you can just order one of them and you get free delivery with it. I highly recommend grabbing both of them. You don't need a big knife, you know, when you're cutting some stew meat up. This would be a perfect knife to cut your stew meat, stir fry. And this is perfect meat, you know, to cut your steaks. You have a big old roast, cut that roast. It's what I prefer. This is 100% great quality knives. And I will say I have used Victorinox, and I was having to sharpen them about once every month and a half. Like I was having to actually like apply pressure on the meat to like get it to cut. So that, see, I'm literally just gliding it. Great quality knives. Brown Eye Queen. You're my brown eye girl. La 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 la. So what am I cutting off? I'm just cutting off the silver skin and the fat, and on this back piece, you got to square. You got to take this off just because it's got this like bunch of this ugly tendon nerve thing in it. So I take it off. Cut all this meat off around it to repurpose it as stew meat or stir fry. And then if it's a really, really big nerve or tendon, kind of like this one, I'll kind of work it on out of there. Then any of this meat that's stuck to it. Then I'll throw that away. And then all this rest of this meat will go in my trim bucket, and this gets repurposed into some stew meat. And since we're starting to use these for some steaks, go ahead and set this one off to the side. We'll come back to it after we get these 5 roasts trimmed up. It's called Knife Pro Cutlery. You can go into my TikTok profile, go all the way up to the top. It's gonna have my picture, my name, and it's gonna have a couple things in my bio. And then right before you get to all the videos, there's gonna be like a showcase, store, or it's like a showcase and something and something and something. Hit that showcase. It's like showcase and subscription. Hit that showcase, click on it, and it's gonna pull you into a whole list of knives. And the Knife Pro Cutlery ones are the ones that I use. Am I a chef? I'm a barbecuer. Although my barbecuing videos are going to be on hold for I don't know how long. I just moved, and into the townhomes that I moved into, you're not allowed to barbecue. So I gotta either one, hope that my neighbors both think that rule is stupid as hell too, and if I can bribe them with some meat, because you know, some meat from the meat man, you know, that's some premium meat right there. But I'm gonna start doing some videos in the kitchen. Gonna hopefully get a crock pot here soon. I'll show you all how to do some crock pot videos. Now, some people might not know how to use crock pot or know what to do with the crock pot, or always the same recipes on the crock pot. I'll show you some new recipes. You're wearing green today. I knew something looked different. I am wearing green today. I went to rotate my laundry last night, and my new washer, I guess I didn't know how to start it. Didn't start. So I was starting my wash as I was falling asleep. And then I woke up this morning, and it was a late morning, very late morning. So I was leaving as I was putting my sweatshirt in the dryer. So again, on these chuck tenders, your mock tender, your Scotch tender, we're just taking off the silver skin and anything that's kind of just like unappealing, super loose. That's why a good edge on a knife is really good for these, because you can just get right underneath the silver skin. Not even take any meat off of it. I'm sure everyone's thinking this is boring. Oh my God, is he ever gonna stop with the chuck tenders? This stuff's so boring. We're working on it. Someone asked to do the chuck tenders, so we're gonna do the chuck tenders. But we still got top sirloin and tri-tip next. Tri-tip, we got a whole bag of tri-tip. If you don't know what tri-tip is, you are missing out. If you're just curious on how you're supposed to cut it, make sure you are tuned in for that, because I know plenty of people who cut their tri-tip wrong. I have Victorinox and you right, I have to sharpen it a lot. It's exactly it. I would highly recommend trying out the Knife Pro cutlery knives. Alex, thanks for the follow. Do I enjoy touching meat all day? You know, I do enjoy touching my meat all day, you know. I get to touch this meat and I get to put it out on display for people to grab and look at, and then they'll eventually take it home and put it in their mouth. Who doesn't like their meat being put in their mouth? Oh, never mind. We're off topic here. Just kidding. No, it's actually not that bad. Compared to a lot of things that I have done, this is easily my favorite job that I have had. Would I've liked to have been able to stay out at a mine site? Yes, I would have. Joe B. Thanks, that made my day. Of course, not a problem at all. When I went live on the Red Play app, they was like, is this intended for the audience of children? I was like, no, this is not intended for children. I don't have an affiliate link, but ordering off of my TikTok page gives me the support for it to show that I'm the reason that it got sold. So if you do want to order these knives, I do very much say I would appreciate it if you go into my TikTok profile and go into the showcase to order it, because it does show that the order came from me. Sorry, I'm having to remember to read two chats now. This is the first time I've ever had to do it. I know he talked about trying to give me an affiliate link, but I don't know if he ever got it done. And this was like a year ago when he was telling me about it, so. But I really appreciate it, Shade Tree. Now these are going to be for steak, so I try and make sure all this extra loose, stringy stuff is off the roast before we cut it into a steak, just because who would want to see a random stringy piece of meat just, hey, I'm over here while the steak's over there. And then if you do leave it on there and you do cook it, then it's gonna be well done. Who wants well done steak? Not me. So what meat am I touching? This is a wiener, no just kidding. This is a chuck tender. It's a chuck tender. Timmy Renee, thanks for the follow. I mean, it kind of does look like it though, right? You know what I mean? Just if woman were a male for her day. Meat rare, yes. Now if that made you giggle, if that made you cackle, make sure you tap that screen 10 times. Because it might grow. Touch it 10 times, it might grow. Where is my mind at today? It's everywhere. It's everywhere and it's somewhere. This one, we gotta have it all hugging, I guess. Stuff just wants to hug into the meat right now. Little kitchen humor ain't hurt nobody, exactly. Pound the likes! Are there likes on YouTube? Again, if you did not know, I am live on that Red Play app as well. If you ain't following on the Red Play app, make sure you are followed and subscribed. Turn the notifications on because we are going to start going crazy on that YouTube, on that Red Play app. I'm going to start posting my whole lives to it as well. So if you feel like you've missed anything that you wanted to come and check out every Wednesday or whenever I'm live, they're going to be going to that Red Play app. So make sure you are following and subscribe to it to see what you do miss when I do go live. Full recaps. Twig! Thanks for the follow. What kind of fish is it? A dick fish? Oh wait, it's a chuck tender. It's beef. This is beef. No, because it's got that actual meat to it. Mock tender. Yes, chuck tender, mock tender, scotch tender. Clotter? Thanks for the follow. Sorry if I butchered that. A lot of them letters are blending in. So we got this roast and one more roast to trim up, and then we'll cut them down to some steaks. I know this is taking a while. I'm sorry. It's not my fault, okay? This meat sucks. It's shaped like a dick, and you gotta work it on the angles. Clawed. Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't have an energy drink this morning, but some of the shit I'm saying makes me think otherwise. All I've had is a Propel drink. What the hell are they putting in the Propel? Blender together. They're putting crack in like Propeller or something nowadays. Holy shit. It's like we went back in time and they put Coke in the Propel instead of the Coca-Cola. What's my favorite meat? Ribeye is always and will be forever my favorite steak. But after the ribeye, it's this cow's ass. No, I'm just kidding. It's the top sirloin, but it's not specifically the top sirloin. It's the top sirloin cap. So this separates from this side. And this cap is called the rump cap, the coulette, or what I like to call it. the picanha, because that's what the Brazilians call it. And that's like their traditional, like that's what they're known for, is that roast, that cap. And they do some amazing things with that meat right there. It's like, I'm a guy, but I want that meat in my mouth 24/7. It's fun to have fun and work too, you good boy. Oh, well, thank you. Such a good boy. Oh my goodness, I got called a good boy. Want to make a guy blush, you call him a good boy. Hey yo. Pause? What do you mean pause? Piece of meat went flying. Just kidding, it's right here. BL4862, thanks for the follow. Sipping coffee and watching meat cut. Life is good. Hell yeah. What kind of coffee? Only kind of coffee I know is Folgers of that Black Rifle, right? Black Label, Black Rifle. I only know that because of the Joe Rogan podcast. Do I like oxtail? I don't think I've ever had it, but I've seen some dishes get made of it, and that meat just looks like so tender, so juicy. BS Wick, thanks for the follow. Also, anyone could say that I'm going slow. I'm kind of going slow, but this is literally all I have to do today. I don't have to make ground beef. I made enough yesterday. I cut my pork yesterday. No, after we cut all this, I might grab a pork loin and we'll do some thin cut pork chops, because I think that's about the only thing out there that's pork that is running a little low. There's only 4 packages and it can hold 8. And the pork chops are on sale this week, so they're $2.99 a pound for a package of 5 thin slice. So it's averaging about $2.99 to $3.18 for them. So kind of flying out of there sometimes. Dark roast, great value, is a great cheap coffee. I don't really like coffee. I go to Dutch Bros and I make my coffee not taste like coffee. That was weak. Cut me some chuck eye steaks. If I needed to cut a chuck, I would, but don't need to cut a chuck right now. I got some chuck steaks. I got plenty of chuck steaks and a couple chuck roasts out there, so don't need to do the chuck roll. If I'm able to go live Friday, if I can go live Friday, I'll go live Friday, and we'll do some chuck eyes. We'll do a chuck roll, and I'll do that whole breakdown, like I did over here on YouTube. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you go over to the YouTube. My YouTube camera is just right here or right here. And make sure that you go down. I have a whole video of where you get the chuck eyes, your chuck roasts, and then your chuck steak. I also have the video on how I trim up that whole chuck roll. It's like a 30-pound piece of meat that I'm just handling, all right? Renee! Sorry, I thought that was an S for a second. Renee, thanks for the follow. I will check it out. I highly recommend it. Like I said, I'm gonna start posting. I'm gonna start posting like whole breakdown videos to my YouTube. They're gonna be like 15-minute long, 15, 20-minute long videos. And then after every time I go live, when I get home, I will upload this live to the YouTube. So if you're ever seeing me, hey, thanks for the gift, blah, blah, blah. I was thanking people here on the TikTok. Also, if I have somehow missed anyone's gifts, I'm sorry. I'll slap my meat for you. I appreciate all the gifts and everything. Gifts, follows, likes. We're up to 5.3 thousand likes. Can we just start just tapping the hell out of that screen? Let's get more people in here. Moose meat? No, I really want to try moose though. The chuck tender is actually pretty simple. We're taking off that tail piece, so obviously we're probably just going to keep going down this way. You don't want to cut it like that. That would make some weird looking steaks. So yeah, we're just gonna go down, and this is just gonna be like medallion steaks. Chuck tender steaks, but they look just like medallions. It's like a sweet old medallion. Oh, butter. What is eye of round good for? Thin slicing it for jerky, stew meat. I use it for stir fry and beef cube steak. So you can beef cube steaks, chicken fried steak. These chuck tender is always going. This is a better cut than eye of round though. If that just got interrupted, sorry. Someone just tried calling me. I don't know who it was. One disadvantage to going live is I don't get access to my phone until I'm done with it. 6,000 likes, let's go! Eye of round, it's good for stew, you know, because you can cook it into. I don't want to see that. It's because, you know, you're cooking in a stew, so you have all those liquids, you have all those veggies, you have all the other stuff, you know, it's producing its own juices. So that's seeping into the meat and help with tenderizing it. So it's good for stew meat. Same thing with stir fry. If you thin slice that stir fry thin enough, all those juices, you know, the soy sauce, whatever, it's going to help tenderize that meat, make it a little bit softer, to more tender to eat. But if you thin slice it, and then you can dehydrate it and make some really good jerky with eye of round too. I got an aged Australian Wagyu to make a cheesesteak with a $150 steak. Jesus. Oh, I bet that will be good. Everyone, this is my mom. Not on YouTube, but Molly Haregi, author, creator. This is my mom. She is, as you can see, she is an author. Author of what? A Vampire Trilogy. Thank you for asking. It's called Fated, A Vampire Trilogy. It's really, really good series. If you like reading or you know someone who likes reading, I highly recommend getting that for them. Rue! Know what I think of when I hear the name Rue? What's that TV show called? What's that TV show called? Help! Euphoria, yes. I also think of the little girl in the Hunger Games from like District. Forgot which district it was from, but the little girl ends up getting killed. Yeah. Euphoria and the Hunger Games. That's what I think when I hear the name Maru. Michelle! Thanks for the follow. Slap my meat for you. This is watermelon. Oh shit, I don't know. Let me just start eating it then. This is my sister right here, Customs by Carly. She makes tumblers, blankets. I don't know if she's still on the blanket thing. She makes tumblers. Would I slap it again? I'd slap my meat for anyone in here. But again, look at it. It just cuts like butter. This edge is almost a year old. This edge is 10 months old, 10 months and some change old, and this thing still cuts like it's almost brand new. Get this all cleaned up so the bottom of my trays don't get all juicy. Gotta love TikTok. Gotta slide a puzzle piece across the screen into a little slot. Let TikTok know I am still live. It takes 62 minutes for TikTok to be like, hey, guy, are you still here? What am I cutting? This was chuck tender, roast into some chuck tender steaks. Next up, we got a cow's ass, aka the top sirloin. So now for these family packs, I like to put about 4 into them, or 4 to 5, depending on their sizes. It's a good 5 one. And then like the itty bitty smally ones go into the smaller steak packages. 1, 2, 3, like a bird I see. The most beautiful thing. We are in a meat department, a grocery store meat department. A little small town local grocery store. I'm the meat department manager in one of these small town local grocery stores by the good old Twin Falls. What am I saying good old for? I hate this town. Sirloin is too chewy for me. Top sirloin. Not sirloin tip, top sirloin. If it's too chewy for you, then you need to do a little bit more meal prep with that. Have I heard of the butcher's cut? I think that's like the Denver steak. Unless it's just, you know, whatever the butcher, the meat cutter wants to have out there as his cut. I guess it just depends on where you live. Here in Idaho, the butcher's steak is what the butcher, the meat cutter wants to have on special this week. But I mean, there might be some places, you know, they call it the butcher's steak just because it's kind of a hidden gem. Well, the filet mignon, it's going to melt in your mouth. It's it's the most expensive cut, which I fully believe is overrated. Just buy a ribeye. Just buy a ribeye. You save about $20. But one of my favorite cuts off the top sirloin is this picanha cap right here. And I actually compare this to like a cross between a ribeye and a filet mignon. Now it doesn't have that super tenderness to it, but it is very tender, very juicy, and tastes amazing when done correctly. Now what does that remind you of? A ribeye and a filet mignon. Done with the family packs. Onto the smalls. I got the whole tenderloin, cut it at 1.5. Sounds great to me. Shit, I'd probably even go up to 2 for me personally. No, when I cut myself a ribeye steak, which I haven't done in a while, because I like taking home roasts, because I feed more than just me normally. If I just buy a normal ribeye steak for myself, I cut it. I either go in between the bones, so it's like a 2-inch steak, or I go into a store and I'll straight up tell them, yo, none of these steaks are good enough for me, I want it thicker. Thicker the better. If I could only eat one steak for the rest of my life, what would it be? It would be a ribeye. 2-inch thick cut ribeye steak. Tomahawk steak. Give me that bone. Let me live like a caveman. Let me enjoy living like a caveman again. Mine is ribeye as well. Okay, we're kind of building up a little bit of a stew pile here. Got a little bit of stew pile going on, so we're gonna go ahead and cut this before we start cutting more steaks real quick. We're gonna do that one because when you have meat just laying against each other, it kind of starts to take, it's like when meat isn't exposed to the air, you have meat on top of each other, and it stays there for like 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes, you take it off, it got a little like dark spot going on because there was no light or air being able to hit it. So I don't want those spots to come on because then I gotta make it look like the spots aren't there. What do you like ribeye cooked? Medium rare, and I like to smoke it. I like it smoked. That's why I like thick cut pieces of meat, because I get to smoke it longer. You smoke it, and it helps break down those meat juices inside that steak, that roast. Helps tenderize that meat. Becomes even juicier. Becomes even tenderer. Sheesh. Also, someone called me a diva earlier. And no, just kidding. Just kidding. I smoke meat, I do. I have a big old Pit Boss pellet smoker. If you go through most of my TikTok, you'll actually find me barbecuing a lot this last couple weeks, just because where I moved into, I don't really have permission to barbecue where I'm at. It's because it's literally brand new. It was finished at the beginning of September. My unit was finished literally being built, new construction, beginning of September. And whoever owns the townhomes, I guess, the last couple of years, they've had units burned down because of people barbecuing. And since they're brand new, they don't want them to burn down. So that's where I'm at with my barbecuing right now. So if someone lives in Twin Falls and would like to let me use their place to barbecue, just let me know. I'll pay you with meat. You make a mean turkey? I actually haven't gotten to make a turkey. When I was, the 3 times I cooked a turkey, I was with my ex-wife. The first time was when we lived in Nevada. I wasn't an avid barbecuer or anything yet. So we did it in the oven and it came out really good. And then the last 2 years I was with her, it was kind of the same thing. She wanted to do a turkey in the oven. She wanted to cook a turkey. So I cooked a prime rib for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Turkey was a bit dry. If we're being honest, she really wasn't meant for the kitchen. Divorced? Yeah, I got cheated on. And now she's getting cheated on. Aw, shit. What do I think a bad pack of stew meat looks like? No marbling on the meat. Cheating should be a crime, I agree. No marbling in the meat, so that's the fat throughout the meat, you know. It doesn't look like it has any, or it's starting to turn color. That's a bad package of stew meat. It's really hard to decipher what is a bad package of stew meat other than those two things, because stew meat packages have a mix of meats in it normally. Like, this is going to have, this package alone is just going to have top round and chuck tender. And then there's going to be maybe one, maybe two packages that are just chuck tender. And then we'll have a little bit of top sirloin. And then tri-tip. So there's probably going to be a top sirloin and a tri-tip stew meat package. So it just depends. It's really hit and miss when you go through your stew meat. So I will say, if you know you need a bunch of stew meat, look at what roast is on sale for the week. If there's an eye round, or there's London broil, or shit, what's another one? Chuck tender, sirloin tip. So look at what roast is on sale, and you can usually get a lot more stew meat. God damn it. For a little bit cheaper for whatever roast is on sale. Because like right now, my stew meat is $6.59 a pound. I don't know what I have my meats on sale for this week. I drew it up this morning, wrote it on a piece of paper, but I kind of forgot what I marked this chuck tender roast on sale for. I think maybe $6.99 or $5.99. I'm not quite sure. One second. What cut is my least fave? I really hate cutting up chuck tenders, just because, as you can see, I had 600 people in here at one point, but then it's died down to 170 because of chuck tender. There's ugly little pieces of shit. But maybe slapping some ass, we'll get some more people in here. Margaret, thanks for the follow. I'd say my least favorite to cut would be chuck tender and London broil. Ugly pieces of meat. And then one of my favorites to cut is actually this one right here. My nose won't stop itching. Oh my God. But it's one of my favorites to cut because we get to pull off this roast right here. Always fuck up London broil. NFL Jordan, you're in Southeast Idaho and I'd like to buy some meat from you. We don't ship here. I'm just a small local grocery store, meat department manager. But I will say, if you're not that far away, I can meet you. You know, we can switch numbers. FaceTime you, show you what we have out on the counter, tell you what the total is, cash out me the money, gas money. I'll bring it to you, meet you. No, southeast, I'm guessing you're maybe over in Pocatello-ish area, Idaho Falls, maybe just Burley. If you're in Burley, I'd drive it down to Burley for you. Do I get free meat? I unfortunately do not get free meat. So this thing that I just took out right here, sorry, I got a little distracted there. Was like, it's the protective layer between the bone and the meat, so it gives that bone to rest on instead of the meat. And it's a very smooth, almost leathery type of texture for the bone to just kind of glide on. It tastes like shit, so I just throw it away. You can cook it. You're looking for property around St. Marie, Idaho. I don't even know where St. Marie, Idaho is. I don't even think I've ever heard of a St. Marie, Idaho. But if you can cook it, and you can eat it, but it's not going to taste good at all. I promise you, it's not going to taste good at all. You can put it in your trim bucket, but why put it in the trim bucket if after you cook it, it's not even going to taste good? So I just throw it away. Don't know if that's how I was trained, but once I found out what it was, I personally just started throwing it away. Now all I'm doing right here is I'm taking out this fat pocket, because that's what's holding these two pieces of meat together. As you can see, we start to pull that away, but it's being held together by this fat right here. So just gonna take it out a little bit by a little bit. Just finished trimming up here too. Finish taking it out, go over here, it gets into like a little corner piece. Take it on out. Come back here really quick. Forgot to get this side. Just really ugly. Got some loose silver skin, some loose fat, stringy fat. A little bit of that protective thing from the bone too. I'm all about making it look pretty though. My OCD doesn't help sometimes being a meat cutter. But we got this pulled apart. We got that fat out of there, so we can go ahead and pull this apart now. Go ahead and pull it. Nice and appealing, satisfying. Peel it all apart. Look at that. So this is my favorite, one of my favorite roasts right here. This is the picanha cap. Very nice specialty down in Brazil. We're gonna go ahead and trim the rest of this up now. Oh, Southwest Coeur d'Alene. Okay. I know where Coeur d'Alene is. So we're just gonna go ahead and take off this stuff back here. Looks like I'm getting into the meat. Not really. When I was pulling that meat, it kind of takes a small, it kind of separates the fibers. So those fibers that kind of get pulled out of there, I like to make sure I shave them off because they will turn, they will start to turn quicker than the rest of the meat just because I have fucked up those fibers, those meat fibers. You gotta shave it on out of there. Same thing with this fat. We're just getting that fat right on out of there. Man, just look at how great of an edge this knife has. Have I mentioned it hasn't been sharpened in 10 months? 10 months. The only thing that I've done with this is hone it. Just that's all I do. Right out. Coulette, rump cap, picanha. I like picanha. It sounds fancier. And I'm fancy. Oui. Richard, thanks for the follow. So if I'm eating a steak and it has a lot of silver skin, does that mean the butcher did a bad job? No. Usually silver skin, when it's thin enough and you cook over an open flame, it actually burns, it just disintegrates that silver skin. It kind of just disappears. Kind of like, have you ever seen those videos when you have like the cotton in the springtime, kind of like all over the grass? You can kind of, you see someone grab like a lighter, hit it on the edge, and then it does that like burn off the top layer. It's kind of what it does with the silver skin. But when you're in a grocery store, if you see a piece of meat that has just this weird looking silverish meat on it, people are gonna think that doesn't look that appealing. But this one has none on it, so I'm gonna grab that one. And that's how my customers are. So anything that just makes them question anything, I take it off. So I've been cutting this way the last like month and a half, but then I'm getting up in this front end and it's not wanting to stay flat. So I'm gonna go back to cutting it how I normally do. Take off this front piece. And it's just super ugly up in here. You got this big old fat, not even fat, this is like a tendon or nerve, super hard. It just looks ugly when you're looking at it. So this pretty much just gets thrown down into the trim bucket. I take off a little bit of this meat for stew meat, because again, stew meat costs more than ground beef. So if you're just grinding all your extra meat down, you're losing a little bit of money, instead of just repurposing it into some stew meat when you can. Louis Deli and Meat Market. Where you at? Thanks for the follow. I really want to visit Coeur d'Alene. And then we're just gonna go through. And you don't want like an inch cut steak on these. These are big, some big steaks. Once you start getting more into the center of this. So about ½ inch is about what most people do for these top sirloins. ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch. I have these on a manager special this week for $7.59 a pound for a family pack. Nice big steak though, top sirloin. I will say the one good idea my ex-wife did have in the kitchen was, I guess it wasn't her idea, it's what the recipe called for. It wanted a top sirloin steak so that you could stir fry it yourself to make some stir fry and vegetables and stuff. Fucking fantastic meat if I don't say so myself. Arlington, Tennessee. You're the only 10 I see. I need to go to Tennessee. I really want to visit. I need to visit the East. I need to visit more that way of the United States. I know it's not like technically East, but from where I'm at, it's East. Save this little piece right here for just a small individual steak. R.I. Rhode Island. How's the island life? I know it's not really an island, but Ohio. So top sirloins, they're big steaks, and my customers don't like seeing $23, $25, $28 on a steak package when it's not like a ribeye or New York or T-bone or tri-tip or filet mignon. which I don't cut, but. So what I do is I'll take one steak and cut it in half, put it at the top, and then I'll grab one of the smaller steaks, put it at the bottom, and then they get a steak and a half. And about half of those steaks could feed a kid. You know, anyone, if you have like a teenage boy who eats normal, you know, he's not just like devouring anything in sight, you could probably give him like half of one of these steaks, some vegetables, you know, and he'd probably be a-okie dokie. Vegetables and fruit. What made it Rhode Island? Okay, yes. North Carolina. Carol Baskin. Okay, what do we want to do here? We'll keep this one whole. It looks a little bit smaller. Smaller piece of meat. Where am I located? I am in Twin Falls, Idaho. I can't specifically say which store I am, but I'm located basically Twin Falls, Idaho, one of the surrounding towns. About a 15-minute drive from Twin Falls and you will find me. South Carolina. Okay, so we got this coulette, picanha, rump cap, top sirloin cap, piece of meat, cow meat. Let's go ahead and break this one down. I'm just gonna take off this little meat that's stuck to the fat. From Kentucky. Hello from Idaho. So pretty much, pretty simple. We got this flop of fat, you know. We don't want that on there, so we're gonna take that off. I usually start right there. Just follow it on down. Voila. Then we're just gonna start taking off the rest of this silver skin. Fat without trying to get into the meat, because this is good meat. You don't want to waste any of this meat. Every piece of this meat deserves to go in someone's mouth. Wink wink. Nice work, I appreciate it. That's what she said. Just gotta give you them bad winks. Make it not obvious at all. So what I like to do whenever I have a roast, any roast that I have, if I can lay it flat, and I can see any fat around the edge, good little trick that you can do is just take it right on off, and you don't have to worry about having a really ugly edge for that fat. But we ain't leaving this as a full roast. We're gonna go ahead and make this into some steaks. Now there is a certain way you gotta cut this. I'm sure there has been plenty of people that have bought this as a roast. Probably not plenty of people. I'm sure there's still a decent amount of people that bought this as a roast and cut this the wrong way. 9 times out of 10, when someone sees a roast that they're gonna cut down, they see this big open spot right here. You know, you got it looking like a steak. That's how they're gonna start cutting it. And I hate to tell you this, it's gonna be tougher than shit. So you don't cut it the thick way. That is a no-no. Do not cut it the thick way. I know some people like that thick looking meat. you don't cut it that way. Well, then what way do we cut it? You don't cut it the long way. There's that long skinny piece. You don't cut it that way. And since this is a triangle, the thick piece is a no-go. The thin piece is a no-go. So then the only other piece that should be here is the small piece. And that is cutting against the grain. And you can tell you're cutting against the grain because you'll have that beautiful marbling in there. And all you got to do is just follow that on down. And it really is a nice looking steak. It's a really nice looking steak right there. Do roasts or steaks sell better for you? I'd say steaks. There's certain roasts that sell. Chuck roasts are one. Sirloin tip is another. I haven't had those in a while though. And then the London broil moves every now and then. Sometimes I gotta throw a little $2 off sticker on them. Sometimes they just fly on right out of the case. Oh. It just really depends. You know, there's some roasts that when they do go on sale, I'm like, well, I know you don't sell. So I'll put a couple of you out there, and then I'll put a bunch of other roasts out there. But I know the steaks sell. It's kind of like the chuck tender. I would say the chuck tender steaks sell better than the roast. Tri-tip steaks, 50-50. It's like a 50-50, how people are feeling. The other week, it seemed like I couldn't keep the roasts in. This week, it seems like they're all after the steaks. Probably cut it wrong, that's probably why. Probably cut the roast wrong, thought it tasted like, not that it tasted bad, probably thought it was super tough. You tried the steaks in, and then you tried the steaks and like, oh shit, steaks are nice and tender. Dylan, thanks for the follow. Kelsey! You know, I'm also live over on the Red Play app too, Kelsey. I'm live in 2 places right now. I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm here. Yeah, you've missed a lot. This is the last thing to cut. But I will say, what happened here is going to be over here by the end of the day. It's going to be on the Red Play app, and you'll be able to watch this whole live, see what you missed. Inappropriate meat jokes. The Red app, the YouTube. I can't really say YouTube on this app because then you get down to 90 live speed. Am I the only guy that cuts meat there? I am. The one and only. The one and the only. So this is tri-tip. No. An L for all them losers. For all them people that don't want meat, take a big ol' L. I'm a butcher myself, I love it. I love this job too. I do want my own shop though. So for the tri-tip, as you can see, there's kind of a lot of this ugliness to it. Front piece has just a little bit of fat that I'll take out. But we're taking out all this unappealing stuff. You know, if I bought a roast and I saw this stuff that I just took off on it, I'd be pissed. You wanna know who trims up their tri-tips like that though? I'll give you a hint. Freddie Meyer. Kroger. Sorry, I had a cough. Freddie Meyer, come on, you can't be that like spaced on it, right? Fred Meyer. They'll just grab them out of the bag and then throw them into a tray, and then that's how you buy them. How do I know that? Because I worked there. I did the whole Kroger, because, you know, Gollum, you know. Trying to not make it obvious, and you guys have to make it look obvious. Never telling y'all a secret. Ever. From Boston? You guys don't have that in Boston? I guess that's just a Western chain then. Toxics? Kelsey, are you cheating on me? Are you going into other people's lives? Are you cheating on me? I like trying to save my big tri-tips for the steaks. I think that would be a good one for steaks. Girl from Miami. So correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't really know how the hurricane hits Florida. Miami's down at like the point, right? So with the hurricane coming, Florida kind of looks like Florida. So you got like Miami down here, right? And then you got like Tampa up here. The hurricane's hitting this way, right? It's coming in this way. So would Miami get hit? Miami should be good? Oh, okay. I guess it's more of a Louisiana shape. It kind of works for Florida too. They get the rain and stuff, gotcha. I'm a meat cutting boy. I'm a meat cutting boy. I like to slap at my meat. See, I got jokes. I've got jokes. And I've got chills. They're multiplying. No, but for real, it is kind of cold in here. Kelsey, I will say I've been in a really weird mood today. I feel like my Propel had to have something in it. How did I get into this trade? I just really needed a job. And I got into the meat department as a cutter slash as a wrapper and cleaner. And then a couple months later, I was asked to, if I wanted to learn how to cut meat. Hyper today too. Maybe it's the maybe it's the astronomy charts. I don't know what they're called. I am wanting to what? Oh, get into it? Yeah, I would just call your, if you really wanted to get into it, I would call your local meat department, local butcher shop, and ask if they are hiring and if they would be hiring for someone who has no experience. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be making too much money. As a wrapper slash cleaner, you're not going to be making that much money. You make money once you can cut meat. And even then, you're not really making meat unless you own the shop, or money unless you own the shop, or you're the manager, or you're the assistant manager. Because you can go pretty much anywhere here in Twin Falls. Like, you can go to Smith's, you can go to Albertsons. It's why I didn't cut meat for a year and a half. If you're not a manager, you're not making money. You're making like 14 bucks an hour here. I can't live off that as a single dad, so I was, well, I guess I wasn't single at the time. When I was with, the last little bit I was with the kids' mom, I wasn't working in the meat department because there was no meat department manager jobs available. And I wasn't gonna cut meat for 14 bucks an hour because I know what I'm worth, and I'm not worth 14 bucks an hour. I can tell you that much right now. And so yeah, so I didn't cut meat for a year and a half. I saw a meat manager ad out for Fred Meyer that hired me as a meat cutter, but they started me at 20 bucks an hour because I had experience. If you have no experience and if you're an adult, like if you're like an adult, you have family, getting into a meat cutting job isn't beneficial unless you have experience. That's just how it is. It's a good learner job from the beginning because 9 times out of 10, you're young enough that you can usually have roommates or whatever. All right, so now that we got all of this tri-tip trimmed up, I'm gonna show y'all how you're supposed to cut it. Because I guarantee you, at least half the people in here, if you don't know how to cut a tri-tip, and you do cook tri-tip and you do cut tri-tip, I want to bet you are cutting it the wrong way. So I'm going to try the best to show you how to cut it, all right? Let's fix this camera real quick. It's 12:12. I've been at this for 104 minutes, almost 2 hours. Okay, so we got this, right? Okay, so this is the front. So the grain kind of runs at an angle. So you're not going to be cutting your roast straight up and down. It's not how you're gonna want to do it. You're gonna have some funky looking steaks. You cut it at an angle. So you cut it sideways. It's kind of hard to show, but this would be flat. I have it turned sideways, and then I'm running. I can't. Camera angle isn't the best. I'm sorry. But you're gonna cut it at an angle, not straight up and down. And when you're doing that, you're gonna be running across the grain and not with the grain. If you ever cook something and cut something, and it's not tender, 1, you might be a bad cook. 2, you might have cut it the wrong way. So you always want to make sure you're cutting against the grain, not with the grain. And an easy way to see what the grain is, see all these lines running across? So if you're cutting straight up and down, you're not cutting against it. You want to kind of cut it at this angle right here. Hope that helps a little bit better. That's all you gotta do. And tri-tip usually has phenomenal marbling, intermuscular marbling. I'll show y'all on this roast right here. These steaks right here. Look at that marbling. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful steak. If you ain't cutting your tri-tip and it's not looking like that, you cut it wrong. It's very pretty. We're gonna have another good one right here too. I don't know if it's weird, but I can just grab a roast and I can tell if it's going to have good marbling or not. Just by the feel of it. If you cut meat, do you know what I'm talking about? Or am I just weird? Again, look at that. Look at that marbling. Just by the touch, I knew it was gonna look like that. Another good one. I know when I grab it too. I'm sure you do. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Makes sense. I'm glad it makes sense. I can pick on Kelsey. She's been here for like 3 years. I think she's actually the only mod other than my mom who's still OG. Granted, I didn't go live for a while, so everyone probably thought I disappeared. Yeah, look at that last one too. Fantastic marbling. Where do I work at? Small little grocery store, local grocery store in the Twin Falls area. I don't need too many small ones, so when I don't need too many small ones, I'll kind of just fill the tray with the small steaks too. Beautiful marbling, it really is. My mom loves when I smoke tri-tip for her. She probably like that picanha too if she's still here. You could ask her. I have the last little piece that I cooked on my smoker before I moved. I have it thawing out right now at my home. I'm gonna make some pasta and meat, some noodles and meat for dinner for my kids and I tonight. I was gonna do that last night, but got to that thawing out defrosting stage a little bit too quick, too late, and it did not want to thaw. Yeah, I know they got the deer. I didn't know she was cleaning though. Shit, what was I saying? Shit. Oh, yeah. So I made mac and cheese for the kids and I last night. Tries are great smoked. They are. I did 100 pounds for my sister's wedding the other month. 100 pounds. It was the first time I ever did catering. I used 6 pellet smokers and I smoked 100 pounds of tri-tip perfectly. Smoked and reverse seared 100 pounds perfectly. gave me confidence to know that I can go and do catering. I just need help with the catering. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to start. I thought that was a crab, it's an X. Go ahead and fill this up with some small tri-tips. Getting territorial? I don't know what she's getting territorial over. All right, all right, all right. Got a little bit of meat left right here. Gonna make this in some stew meat, and I'm gonna go grab a pork loin to make some pork thin chops. Thin cut pork chops. Came out weird, I'm sorry. Where do I get my meat from? It comes from a plant, or the associated warehouse I get my stuff from comes from the Salt Lake warehouse, or the one that's right outside of Salt Lake. So I don't know necessarily where the meat comes from, but I'm sure it comes from farms somewhere within, not too far away from there, you know, like, shit, I did not pay attention to geography at all. Utah. Yeah, I don't really know the states that way. His pants. It's pretty. I'm just gonna stay quiet. I want to make the joke, but I don't know how to make it. I'm gonna go grab some pork really quick. I'll be right back. I'm gonna set this. Oh, that's all the trim that we came up with. There's a little bit in here from yesterday. Grind that down tomorrow. Someone asked for my meat. I laid it out on the table, I'm sorry. He wraps it up and puts it out in the floor of the store. Aaron, thanks for the follow. It doesn't come from Bangor, Maine. No, it doesn't come from Maine. I'll be back. I'll be back. All right. I know I flopped my meat on the table. It's a long, big old piece of meat. Very intimidating. I get that. I get that. Get it along. Oh shit, sorry. Didn't mean, not that way. Gonna go ahead and open this though. There's a lot of meat juice in this bag. I highly suggest don't just dump it all over the counter. A lot of meat juice in this meat wrap, okay? Okay. So what I like to do first is there's usually this thin layer of fat on this tail end of this pork loin. I like to always take it off just because it's really thin and it's practically already falling off. So I just take it off. Now for the next up, I can feel there's a little bit of this chine left still over here. I do the pork and beef on the same cutting board. It's not a problem when you're going from beef to pork. But if you go from pork to beef, then it is a problem. I can't give it a wipe for y'all since y'all are probably gonna bitch about it. Beef finishes cooking at a lower temperature than pork. It's completely finished cooking at like 115. You can eat meat cooked at blue rare at 115. Medium rare is 130. And then once you hit the 140, you get medium. Pork needs to be cooked up to 145. So all that meat juice, that beef meat juice that's getting all over this pork, I hate to break it to you, but it's gonna get cooked off before this pork is done cooking. What I'm gonna do is, because we got this fat over here, I can feel it, and I don't wanna just cut it that way. I like to flip it over, get a good look at it. Let's take it right off. Got that fat right there. Throw it away. I don't save my pork fat. I don't save anything from my pork trimming or anything. A lot of people would say it's probably bad, and it probably is a little bit bad that I don't save my pork trimmings, but I'm not gonna make ground beef. I'm not gonna cut beef, cut pork, use my saw, clean up, wrap, order, fix everything my fucking helper does, fix everything he needs to do that he does out on the deli wall, and make sausage on top of that because he can't make sausage, so I'm not gonna add another thing on my list of 50 things a day to do. So I don't make pork sausage. If I had health, I would. I don't have health, so. I don't make sausage out of the pork trim, nope. I don't normally have enough pork trimmings to go through and make sausage, which is another reason. But I'm not adding another thing to do to my day. What kind of knives do I use? This is my 12-inch or 11-inch Knife Pro cutlery knife. And this is my 9-inch Knife Pro cutlery fillet knife. You can find them located in my TikTok profile. Just click my name up here, go into my profile. Somewhere in that bio on top of all my videos is going to say showcase. Click that showcase button and it will take you to everything that I have linked myself to that I would like to show my followers, bring to my followers, and you get free shipping on both of these knives. You can just buy one and you will get free shipping on it. You can buy two. You got free shipping on one, you're gonna have free shipping on two. You can buy the whole set. Got free shipping on the whole set. And these have not been sharpened. Has not been on a whetstone, an electric knife sharpener. Hasn't done any of that since January 1st. I've been using these since January 1st on the same edge. The only thing that I do with it is honing. And this is not sharpening it. This is just drawing that edge that's already there back out. I do things a little differently than most people, but that's what makes me unique. Double tap! Okay, now I said we're gonna do thin, so that's all we're gonna do for most of this. We might get a family pack out of here, but we're just gonna go ahead, cut this all nice and thin. Sorry, YouTube, I know you're missing the picture a little bit, but we'll get there. Okay, we're there. I do 5 in a tray, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 9. Come on with me. Count with me. 10. 11. 12. 15. It's 3. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That will give me a full thin section. I can get 6 out of here. I don't do butterfly chops. I don't really have a, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have I don't have a recipe to do butterfly. No, I'm sure everyone saw me cut off this front piece. I haven't done anything with it. Pork country style. It's gonna cut it in half. Got a boneless rib right there. Same thing with this one. It's gonna be a little bit thinner. When I try and find something to do with my extra pork instead of just throwing it away. Family pack pork chops get anywhere from 6 to 9 family pack or pork chops in it. It just depends on how big they are. 6 fits in there pretty well. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, like a bird I see. Most beautiful thing. I'm so glad here today. 5. Anyone who doesn't know, this is a soaker pad. It's what collects all the meat juices. Because all that BLOOD has been drained out during the SLAUGHTER. There are some words that TikTok does not like, and it's easier to just spell them out instead of lose viewers. So spelling's too hard for you. I think meat cutting might be also a little bit too hard for you. Unless you're from Winnemucca or Battle Mountain, I guess. They do teach your ABDCs and your 1, 5s, and 7s, so if you're from there, I'd understand. Oh my God, what is that? A potato in Paris? Aiden! Oh, wee wee! I really appreciate that, thank you. That's the first time I've ever seen that. All right, I gotta take both of these now. And we're gonna go wrap some meat. Gotta figure out how we're gonna set all these up. Oh shit. All right, I think we got it. We got a full rack of meat. Full rack. I see you. Let's go ahead and get to wrapping this. Start off stew meat. Code to 1713 at $6.59 a pound. I don't even have to look up at my meat codes or the prices. I just know it. I just know it. Appreciate everyone who's gone over to the Red Play app and gone and followed, subscribed, and turned on them notifications to let them know when I do go live over there. So you can see we are certified Angus now, certified Angus beef. So we get to go ahead and put on a certified Angus beef sticker. And then I also got a nice little stew meat sticker. So we'll go ahead and put that on there too. $8.99, Jesus. See, I thought I was gonna have to go up on mine, but whenever I look at the pricing matrix, Associated has people who go in. It might be Associated. I don't really know who it is, but they have these people that go through and do a cutting test. So instead of us having to do the math and the cutting test and everything to figure out what we need to be putting the price at after they switch or update the price, they do it for us because they do the normal trim specs, what everyone is taught and trained to do. And then, shit, I get such sidetracked. I say too many things, I forget what the fuck I'm saying. Shit. Help. Meat wrapping, least favorite part of the job. I forgot what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Oh, pricing. And so they'll go through and do the trimming specs, and then they'll do it when the beef prices change, and instead of us having to do all the math, they do it for us. I can just hop on the computer. Oh, tri-tip went up $1 a pound. Okay, well we'll start putting it out. Oh, okay, I'll change all my prices to that right then and there. Meat doesn't normally ever go up like $1 a pound either. At least month to month, might gradually work up to $1 more a pound, but usually when price changes happen, it's like a. I put my stickers on backwards. Son of a bitch. Share that website. What website? Oh, I can't share it. It's in it's Associated website. I have to sign in, get onto the page, and then when I get into the meat department, it's an email. So I click on this updated email. It says meat pricing, meat matrix, or meat pricing matrix, one of the two. I click on it and it tells me. Actually, I think I have a picture right here. Let me see if I have the pricing matrix paper in here. Oh, it's right there. Okay. So this is from 10/30/2023. So it has. So it starts off with your normal choice chuck rolls. So choice chuck roll back almost a year ago. A roast was $6.19 a pound. Stew meat was $5.49 a pound. Damn. But it goes from your choice, and then you'll hit your pork, and then you'll go into your CAB. I didn't ever print the CAB because I wasn't in the CAB. Now I'm in the CAB, so I'll look at the CAB stuff. But the pricing matrix. You might be able to go on to shit. I don't know if you'd actually be able to go anywhere and find it. Because I'm sure place to place it's going to be different. And what I mean by different is, people more northeast, like New York and stuff, I'm sure their meat's like 4 or 5 more expensive than here, maybe more. Excuse me. Just want to make sure I didn't change my stir fry price. But that might be another thing too. I'm surprised more places from that deal with meat departments in a grocery store don't have that. I hated doing the math. That shit sucked. Do we sell prime cuts? We don't. I just deal with CAB. Choice Angus beef. That's all I deal with. Every now and then you might get a box or a bag in a box that is prime at a choice price, but that rarely ever happens. I hate math. I was good at spelling. I hated English. I was good at math. It's just the math you got to do when you're doing meat prices. You got to, so you got to grab the whole piece of meat before you take it out of the bag. And then you type in the price per pound that you got it in at on the scale, and then you weigh it up. See how much that weighs of what it costed you to bring in. And then you go and cut it down. So all the fat that you take off and that would you just throw away would go in one pile. And then all the fat and meat that you take off for the trim goes in another pile. And then all the roasts and steaks that you take off go into roasts and steaks. The trim gets weighed up at ground beef price. Your steaks get weighed up at your steak price. And then your roasts get weighed up at your roast price. So you have to go through, and we're looking at about 28 to 35% 35% back. So if we're spending $3 something on it, I'm gonna like $3.99. So half of $4 would be $2. So an easier way to do what's 30% of $4. Quick math right then and there. But sometimes it's not that easy because you're going to have maybe your inside that has 10 pounds of fat that you got to completely take off and not be able to sell. So then the price has to go up a little bit more than normal. It's confusing. Ground chuck there. So we don't just have like ground chuck or ground sirloin. I have 80/20 and I have 93/7. Everything that I cut throughout the day, that trim goes into 80/20. If you wanted to just straight up ground chuck, I'd look at what I have chuck for. I need to update that chuck price. What was it on my pricing matrix last week? I think it was $6.59 for a chuck roast, $6.79 for a chuck roast, so that's what you'd be paying for ground chuck. $6.59 or $6.79. $14.64, $6.89. I know it sounds very confusing. I'm probably just blah 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 blah. Not a lot of people are being able to follow, but the people that can follow, it makes a little bit of sense. I would hope. London broil, that's a manager special, so $6.59. I have my London broils on sale this week for $6.59. Prime definitely does make a difference, but it's also just depending on what you're like looking at for difference, because the price is 100% going to be more, always going to be more. And then you got to look at marbling. So that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the marbling and how tender that meat's going to be compared to a choice or select. Select's just ass. You don't want select. It definitely does make a difference. I've had Wagyu. I've had an A5 VMS 12 ribeye steak sent to me from someone on TikTok. They have a Wagyu butcher shop. And he sent it to me, and I can tell you now, 100% you can tell the difference. Not just from looking at it. If you literally blindfolded yourself, someone blindfolded you, spun you around 50 times, gave you one steak and gave you Wagyu steak in your mouth, you would 100% be able to tell the difference. Now, prime, the choice, it really depends on which choice you're talking about, because the CAB program, if you're looking at a meat pyramid, right? From select to Wagyu up here. So you go select to choice. Everything in here is select. Then you go from choice to prime. So everything in here is choice. CAB is that top end spectrum of choice to prime. So when you're dealing with CAB, you're probably not going to have that big of a difference. You will have some difference, 100%. But when you're dealing with CAB, you're not going to have that big of a difference from bottom end of prime to where your choice, to where your CAB is. Does that make sense? Tweeter, what did Tweeter do? That sticker certified Angus beef makes me laugh. Why? What's wrong with it? Did you think it says certified anus beef? Is that what's making you laugh? Certified anus beef? Calvin, thanks for the follow. It is not false information. I do put the price sticker on the packaging. That is literally word for word of what I've been told and trained and taught at a seminar. I literally went to a seminar September 24th, yeah. September 24th, the day before my birthday, I went to a meat seminar. I didn't know that about CAB either. I thought it was just the name on it. No, it's choice to prime. Anyone who orders choice meat, they're gonna get anything in there. Me being on a CAB, only getting CAB, my choice meat is this top end of spectrum, right below the prime. So this is where my choice meat falls into. Normal grocery stores falls into anywhere in here. I'm just right here. It's not like I haven't been doing this for 6.5 years. The Hereford beef, I don't know what makes Hereford beef so much different. When I worked at Ridley's, we had Hereford beef, certified Hereford beef. I don't know where that falls into the grading spectrum. A5 is Wagyu. So on a meat grading scale, it goes select. Actually, it goes value. Value is worse than select, but you might have a very, very, very rare chance at getting a really good value that would almost be graded as choice. But they're 95% of the time really old, like milk cows or whatever other things that they use for cows that they don't need anymore. But the value is more going to be like your really old milk cows that they're not producing milk anymore, so they're going to just slaughter them. And the meat isn't that great, but they can still sell the meat, so they label this value. So it goes value, select, choice, CAB choice, prime, and then you'll start getting into the Wagyu. You'll have an American Wagyu, which is that bottom end of the spectrum for Wagyu. American Wagyu is Wagyu compared to anywhere else. And it's because we're new to it. We don't really know what the fuck we're doing to get Wagyu beef. Japanese people have been doing this for centuries. It's literally, they have bloodlines that have been going for generations to make the grade of Wagyu that they have. We're just not starting anywhere with, oh, you know, we have a really good cow here, we have a really good cow here, let's have them fuck and start calling it Wagyu. probably what we did, if we're being honest. But then you can go into the Canadian Wagyu and then Australian Wagyu. Australian Wagyu is actually really good. And then you get into your Japanese Wagyu and your Kobe beef. I want to say Kobe's like the top of the line. Because there's only like, what is it? It's only like a couple hundred, I think, maybe 1,000 head of Kobe beef a year. So they're like really rare and really great quality. I'm gonna double wrap this one. I was hoping the sticker would have came off better. But A5 BMS 12 is the top of the line of Japanese Wagyu that you can get. It goes on 2 different scales for Wagyu. You have your A scale, which I don't know what it is. And then you have your BMS scale. And that's like the fat, like your intermuscular marbling fat scale. So A5, it goes 1 through 5. So if you have A1, it's still better than any choice beef that you'll ever have. A1 is still really, really great. It goes A1 through 5, and then the BMS, A5 BMS scale goes up to 12. So it's 1 through 12. And I really don't understand how they do the grading over there. I just know that it's A1 through 5 and BMS 1 through 12. And I had an A5 BMS 12 Wagyu ribeye sent to me. It was like a $130 steak that I got sent to me. It was great. If you want to try it, there's a guy here on TikTok. He's called Alpine Butcher. I think he's located in Maine. I'm pretty sure it's Maine. And he gets, I think he actually just got a Kobe in a month ago or so, whatever. Don't quote me on that. But he has Australian Wagyu, he has Japanese Wagyu. He dry ages them. He does tequila dry aged, whiskey dry aged, bourbon dry aged. He has so many different things that he puts out, and his shop is deliverable, so you can buy stuff online and he does ship it to you. It comes in a box, and that box is, I think inside there's another styrofoam box or another box, and it gets sent with a freeze pack or dry ice to keep it cold the whole time. Top round, yes, this is our London broils right here. Yeah, Marshall got a really nice deer. It's got some of that velvet still on it. I bet that fire is what pushed it towards them. Unless I'm wrong and they ended up getting it somewhere else, but I want to say that fire drove that buck right to him. $80 for a half a pound. Yeah, it's... Wagyu was very, very expensive. Sorry, YouTube had a little low battery thing pop up. So we got my new phone, or not really my new phone, but my second phone does not hold a battery like the 15 does. Been live for 2 hours though. Hell yeah! If you ain't following the YouTube, make sure you follow that YouTube. Got some chuck tender steaks right here. These are the smaller ones. What I always do with the smaller steaks, I'll put like 4 or 5 of these small chuck tender steaks in one package. Looks like a good package, don't you think? 1116. gonna have to look. I forgot. I don't know what price I put it at. Chuck tenders, $6.79 a pound for this small thing right here. And then I got roasts at $5.99. Yep, $5.99 for chuck tender roasts. $6.49 for a family pack of these chuck tender steaks. And then $6.79 for these smaller packages. And yeah, I've been working a little slow today, but this is literally all I have to do. My pork's full, ground beef's full, chicken's full. I ordered yesterday, so freight comes in tomorrow. So all I gotta do once I'm done with this is clean up. I'm supposed to be here till 3:30. Oh my God, someone sent me a pumpkin. A pumpkin head. Hell yeah. Thank you, Aiden. I really appreciate that. Getting all up for the holiday. Thanks for the follow, Jeffrey. Come on, Jeffrey. I don't know if that was a video or there's just something that a group of friends did back in my school back in the day, but what kind of beef? I do CAB beef. It's Choice Angus beef. And this is our chuck tender roast right here. I got this on sale for $5.99 a pound this week. Oh, almost forgot the roast sticker. These pot roasts get a pot roast sticker. And then I have a different sticker that goes on oven roasts. So like your rib or... Okay, yeah, your ribeye. Like it does go on the ribeye if I wanted it to. Baby ghost? Hell yeah. And a heart me? I appreciate it, Aiden. Thank you so much for the 5-pound tri-tip, sirloin tip, tenderloin. What state am I in? I am in good old state of Idaho. Not like I'm a hoe. I'm acting pretty single and lonely. Idaho. We are in Idaho. No kidding, me too. Corn daddy. It's corn. A sweet lump of nub. It's got the juice. It's got the juice. Store called Winco's Foods. Yeah, I've heard of Winco. Who has it? If you live in Idaho, you've heard of Winco. It's one meat shop I refuse to cut in, but it just looks like there are a bunch of idiots in there, that's why. Picking corn for cows as we speak. We have a lot of cornfields around here for feed. Like 90, I'm gonna say like easily like 80% of the cornfields, if not 90% of the cornfields you see around here, they're for feed, like animal feed. Oh yeah, and thank you for your service, for being a farmer. I am in the Twin Falls area, yes. I can't say which store I'm at, but I'm not part of a major food chain store, I can tell you that much. Pumpkin? 26 pumpkins? Thank you so much, Aiden. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Aiden. Any advice for cooking meat? Always low and slow. If you can't do low and slow and you have to cook it at a higher temperature, like in your oven or something, you know, you don't have a barbecue or a smoker, make sure you have a meat probe. Horror candles. 2 horror candles? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Try and slap my meat for you without popping the package. The horror candles, hell yeah. Yeah, a meat thermometer will be your best friend. There's a couple different wireless ones. Just try and get a wireless one. A Bluetooth wireless one for, so if it's in the oven, you don't have to keep opening it, sticking it in or whatever. The wireless ones, the Bluetooth wireless ones, you can put it in the meat, put it on your smoker, put it on your barbecue, put it in your oven, turn the bitch up to 400. It's all good. It's going to work just fine, and it's going to give you the perfect reading on your meat. And also, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't fucking think. Experiment with different spices, seasonings, recipes. There's one thing that I love doing, and it's excuse me. It's experimenting with seasonings. Excuse me. Like my mom, I got that from her. What the Joy Bean? Jolly the Joy Bean? Aiden, bro, you're going crazy. That was pretty fucking cool. Fucking, what can I slap? I don't have any meat to slap. Thanks, Tristan. Hey, you're the one who I can name all the things you've given me. I got a fucked up job because of you. She ain't abusive. She ain't abusive. I got TMJ. I got pupil dilation problems. I could blame my dad for the heartburn. Good looks, are you? I feel like I might have just came into that my own self. You know what I mean? $6.49 a pound for these family pack chuck tender steaks. You're getting 2.64 pounds, five steaks, $17.13. Not been the heaviest one. I could say I got a little bit of my mom's athleticism, though. I mean, my dad was very athletic too, but my mom was an NCAA gold medalist in racquetball. Who can say that about their mom? I can. My mom's an NCAA gold medalist. Racquetball is fucking hard to play too. I don't know who's ever played racquetball. That shit's difficult. There's also the Basque game. I know you didn't play that one, but I see it every now and then on TikTok live. It's Mom, what's the Basque game called? Aiden's liking and gifting, man. You are a round of applause for Aiden. He's just everywhere. Keep seeing his name everywhere. Gifts, likes, shares. Appreciate it, Aiden. Pelota? Is that what it is? The one where they have the big old scoops and then they throw it And they can only bounce. I think it hit the ground once. Is it pelota? Fishing Lure Man, thanks for the follow. What's your favorite thing to fish for? I thought it was something else. I didn't know it was pelota. If I'm saying that right. That is one game I've always wanted to try and play. Oh shit, that's actually down at the Basque Block in Boise too. I've watched that in person. $7.89. The top sirloin. Trout is my favorite. Trout's really good. When I was in school back in the day, I think it was junior high still. We made a trip down to South Fork and Spring Creek, Nevada, right outside of Elko. And we hit a South Fork reservoir as they was letting water out the back. And we were catching trout, like rainbow trout, like this big all day. And then we've gone ice fishing out at Wild Horse before. I didn't catch shit. Everyone else caught something. And we caught some perch and some more trout up there as well. What the fuck? Sage the smart Aiden. I appreciate it, man. You're going crazy. I need to get into fly fishing. My brother fly fishes. I've never fly fished off of an actual fly rod. I've done redneck fly fishing. Anyone would know what redneck fly fishing is? That's where you just loosen your drag hell of that. You just loosen that bitch like she's loose. And then you just fly fish with a regular rod. That's the only way I've fly fished. I've redneck fly fished. But my brother has 1 or 2 fly rods and he goes. He doesn't want to teach me though. Done that many times. Cool. At least it's not like something made up, because I was fully convinced my buddy made that up. God, Aiden's actually going crazy. I've never seen that before. Again, anyone who's just tuning in, I am also live over on the Red Play app. So if you ain't following me on the Red Play app or subscribe, make sure you go hit that like and follow button. Subscribe, whatever it is over there. And turn those notifications on for when I post and go live. Going to be going live every time over there on that Red Play app. And after every live here on the TikTok too, it will be making its way over to the Red Play app as well. Once I get home and can download the video. Hey, have a good day. I have bone and pork butts on sale this week too, but I cut all that on the saw yesterday, so have a good one. Hey, you back on at work? Awesome. Glad to see it. Thank you for stopping back by. I have these top sirloins on sale. Oh, I need to be putting my manager special sticker on these as well. I have these top sirloins on sale with a manager special for $7.59 a pound this week. Got these picanha steaks or the coulette steaks or the rump cap steaks. Whole package of that is only $18.22. It's a great deal. And my other phone is about to die. She's going out. Two more of these on the small ones. One of the best meat cutters on the app. Hey, I appreciate it. I will say I do stop by other meat cutter lives and they're boring. I hope I don't bore you all. I try and keep a good conversation going, whether it's random. And they also don't want to slap their meat. Who doesn't slap their meat in the meat department? Like I've tuned into 2 and everyone's like, slap the meat. And the guy's just like, I don't slap my meat back here. We just cut. You're boring. Make inappropriate jokes. Like, here's a good one. Y'all saw me double wrapping my meat earlier. I know. But we ain't talking about that meat. I can double wrap this meat. I can throw another wrap around this if I want to. I can double wrap this. Am I gonna double wrap it though? No, I didn't need to. But I can't do shit like that. Oh, that's not tri-tip code. $14.15. That's tri-tip code. $9.99 a pound for tri-tip. And I'm thinking about doing an $8.99 a pound roast 2-day sale this weekend. Y'all saw tri-tips for $8.99 a pound. How happy would you be? Scale 1 to 10. How happy would you be? $15.15 for the smalls. $10.49 a pound for small tri-tip. I think $8.99 sounds like a really good deal. Can't find the Red app? YouTube. Red Play app is YouTube. Link is in my bio. I could have swore everyone knows it's the Red Play app. Everyone on here who always posts about their YouTube doesn't ever say YouTube. They say the Red Play button now. It's just TikTok doesn't like, it's like you say YouTube and then you see your viewers just drop. Like I had like 600 in here earlier and then I mentioned YouTube and then it dropped down to a solid like 400 for a little bit. I need to hurry up though, my phone's gonna die. Gonna kick this into another gear real quick. Y'all want to see how a real man handles his meat? I'll show y'all how a real man handles his meat. Just give me like a minute without looking at the camera. If anyone says anything, I'll know. It's because I got snitches in the chat. Get into a groove. Brianna, hello. Yeah, if someone says anything bad in here, I got y'all to worry about. If it somehow passes me by, I got all y'all to tell on them. I'm gonna pull this out from the bottom so I don't have to bend down every 2 seconds. I'm getting old, my back's starting to hurt. $2.99 a pound for these pork boneless country styles. Pretty sure that's who I think it is. Nope. Either way, hello. Just a silent watcher though. Hey, I appreciate it. Silent watching or not. So you could give me a couple taps, that would be nice. Screen taps, screen likes, that would be nice. You don't got to though. We got these family pack pork chops on sale for $2.49 a pound this week. Pork chops, $2.49 a pound. And then a whole loin in the bag is $1.99 a pound. I think I have 2 out on my counter right now. Big ass pork loins. Don't even break $16. It's like $15.06 for one and then like $15.48 for the other. God, I have such a great memory. Until I start talking about like 30 things. Good thing about this is all I gotta do is clean up when I'm done here. And then as fuck is it 21 Jump Street? Finger popping each other's assholes. Seven likes on YouTube, not that bad. We haven't had that many people in there. I mean, 15.4 on the TikTok though. Y'all are just absolutely crazy. You know what? Giveaway at 1,000 followers on YouTube. Y'all are the first to know. Y'all are the first to hear it. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, we'll do a giveaway. Of what? I don't know yet. A knife? A shirt and knife? I'll figure it out. Heard it here first. Heard it here first. And then they'll hear it eventually over on YouTube. If you missed the live and you want to go through and watch the live later, you'll hear it there. And I do got a female tank top, girl tank tops, and men's t-shirts. Girl wins, I will ask her if she likes a tank top or a shirt. Because yeah, 100% gonna have a shirt. 100%. So I'll ask if you want a shirt or a tank top. Not bad. No, there's only like 20 Tristanthemeatman shirts out there right now, and you can have 21. But hey, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I can't do my normal peace out, doing whatever while I'm holding my phone. I got 2 phones going right here. I got 2 phones. But gotta go ahead and get on out of here. We wrapped all the meat that we needed that we cut today. We cut some broils, chuck tenders, top sirloin. tri-tip, and we did a little bit of thing cut pork chops off of a pork loin. Did some stew and stir fry. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Aiden, MVP. Appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure you're following on that YouTube page for when we do hit that 1,000 subscriber mark so that we can do a giveaway. I know someone wants some free shirts. So go ahead, gonna hop on out of here. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. Meatman out of here. All right, Meatman out of here. Thank you all for tuning in.